Hello and welcome to day 7 of my social media campaign. Today is 3 tips that would help your clients to solve their problems. It's quite a complex one. I apologise in advance because it's a little bit longer than normal. But I hope this helps with 3 of the main problems that I find coming through the workshop that should help you to save having any problems in the future. So this is quite a complicated one, so I'm going to try and simplify it with an illustration. If you imagine when you go swimming at the deep end of the swimming pool, it's generally only about 12 feet deep. But if you go under the water and you swim to the bottom to collect your goggles or something that you've dropped, generally used to do that as a child, you feel the pressure in your ears, and it's intense when you get so deep down, and that's only 3 or 4 meters. Basically, on a watch, this is what the rating is referring to. It's referring to the pressure, not the actual depth, which, being called a 30-meter watch or a 50-meter watch or a 100-meter watch, generally it's a misinterpretation. It's to do with the pressure, to do with the atmospheres. So diving down to 4 meters wouldn't be able to be done in a 30-meter watch. It's not to do with the meters. So basically, I'm going to explain the main 3, 30, 50 and 100, because anything higher than that is pretty suitable for water. So 30 meters is suitable for if it's raining outside, or if you're doing the dishes and it gets splashed slightly, but never to be submerged. And the other thing that I point out to my customers quite regularly is you can't put a 30-meter watch on the side, on the windowsill, while you're in the shower or anything like that. It will fill up with moisture. And it will get damaged, and that's a common misconception, that a 30-meter watch is suitable for some form of water, and it's not generally. The next one, a 50-meter, that's suitable for water contact while it's raining, while you're splashing it, while you're doing the dishes, things like that. You could swim in a 50-meter watch. You could swim any length you want in an Olympic pool, but if you were to go to the deep end and dive in from the deep end into the water, the minute you go under the water, it's a 99% possibility your watch is going to fill up with water. It's not suitable for submersion in water, as in to any form of depth. Shallow swimming, perfectly fine. Anything underneath, or creating an excessive pressure, if you imagine that pressure in your ears when you dive in, again, that's happening to the watch. The next level that we'll finish on is 100 meters. And at that point, you can wear it while you're in the shower, you can wear it while you're in the bath, you can wear it while you're swimming, you can wear it while you dive under the water, do anything you like, snorkeling, all of that, but not any deeper than you would imagine when you're snorkeling, probably not any deeper than you can hold your breath for. So anything over that needs to be a 200-meter watch or above. And that's a basic explanation of water resistance. So the second point, understanding timekeeping. As you can imagine, it's a very complex point. The basic thing I want to get across for my customers is just to point out, like, I have people bringing me watches and they say, oh, I've had this watch for 3 or 4 years. It's now gaining, 5 or 6 minutes a month. That's perfectly normal. A manufacturer's specification on high-end watches in general, but it can be on lower quality watches, could be plus or minus 10 seconds a day. Some watches, like Seiko's and things like that, they have sort of plus 20 seconds, minus 30 seconds or something. That's the tolerance that they accept at the manufacturer level. It's perfectly normal for your watch to not be bang on time. This is referring to mechanical watches and automatic watches. Quartz watches, you put a battery in them and they will keep time to the second for as long as the battery lasts. Mechanical and automatic, they do have tolerances because they are mechanical. A lot of people who say, my watch has gained 5 minutes in the last month, they might not have worn that watch for 5 or 6 days of the month. And when they put the watch back on, it might have lost 15, 20 seconds, and they haven't even noticed because it's seconds. But over the course of the month, it's lost 5 minutes. And that is perfectly normal. You just set the watch to time, continue wearing it. Doesn't really need a service. If it's at the point where you're losing 5 minutes a week, then yes, that needs a service. So that's the basic point I wanted to get across. Not trying to do myself out of work, but a watch doesn't really need a service if it's gaining or losing, you know, like a certain amount. If it's gaining 5 minutes a month or losing 5 minutes a month, just keep setting it at a time. If it's gaining 5 minutes a week, then you need to come to me for a service. So the next point, number 3, when to set your date. As I said at the beginning of the video, this is one of the biggest major problems that people generally have at some point, whether the watch has just been serviced or whether they've just bought a watch, or setting their date at the wrong time causes irreversible damage, and it's a major thing. So I'm going to try and simply put it across, because it is very technical. The main thing that you should remember to do with any of your watches, quartz or automatic or mechanical, is to set the date at a time when the date wouldn't be setting. That's the key. So at 9 o'clock on an evening, your watch is already at the point where it's saying, I'm going to change the date at 12 o'clock. And then at 3 o'clock in the morning, your watch is still at the point where it says, I've just changed the date, and my finger is still touching the date, so please leave it alone. That's the thing to remember. From 9 o'clock till 3 o'clock, your watch is in the process of trying to change the date. So if your watch says it's 5 to 11, and you think, oh, the date hasn't changed, and you think, oh, I'm going to change the date until the next day. You pull the crown out, you turn the wheel, and it puts up some resistance, and you think, oh, it's not quite working. So you push, and it clicks, and the date changes, and you think, brilliant. You put the crown back in, you get on with your day. The next day, your date doesn't change at all. The day after, your date doesn't change at all. You think, what on earth's going on with my watch? You have broke the finger that changes the date, because you forced the wheel around that changes the date from the crown against the finger that was actually already changing the date on the other side. So the key thing to remember, like I said, is not to change the date when the date is already trying to change itself, if that makes sense. A similar illustration would be if you imagine that you have your key in the door at home. You've left the key in the door and it's turned, say, till 2 o'clock, so it's like at an angle. Anyone who tries to open that door can't open the door, because the key's already engaged. The barrel is engaged on the inside, but on the outside it looks normal. No sign of any damage. So you put your key in, you try to turn it, it won't turn. You're going to end up snapping the key if you try to unlock that door. That's the same as trying to change your date. If you try to change the date and it puts up any resistance, then stop, pull the crown out to handset, move the hands until the date changes by itself, and then change the date later on. So I hope that helps. It is very complicated, but that was as simple as I could put it. So that was 3 tips to try and help you to save your watch from any damage via water, or if your watch is gaining time, or if you find that your date doesn't work. Hopefully those 3 things will stick in your mind, purely because you have to remember my face telling you all about them. So I hope you've enjoyed that. I apologise, obviously, as it's a little bit long, but I'm trying to get as much information across to people as possible. So I appreciate everyone watching, and have a nice day. Another wet one, but keep dry, everyone.